Hey everybody, it's Zach again at NewTutorial.com. Coming in, want to make a video, and if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I like silver. And if you've watched my channel, you know that I have repeatedly told you that silver is money in the Bible. In the Bible, the Hebrew word kasef, is the same as silver or money. It's used interchangeably for either of those two words, and based on the context in the scripture, either silver or money is used in the English. But the word is kasef, and it is used for either silver or money because silver was money. This is how people traded. They bartered obviously with other things like livestock and animals or such, spices and gold obviously as well, but silver was the money of the day. It's always been like this. It's always been money, and this country here that we're in now has completely gotten away from that. Now I want to show you, I think I've showed this before in other videos, this here is a 1964 Roosevelt dime. 1964. This was the very last year that our government was putting silver, actually using real silver in their currency. And so this is the last year we did that as a country. And the one next to it is a silver denarius, just like that's spoken of in the book of Matthew, chapter 20, verse 2. That's some versions say a penny, but in the Greek, in Matthew chapter 20, verse 2, it's denarii, which is denarius. And so if you notice, the denarius is the exact same size as a U.S. silver dime back in 1964. And so the interesting thing about that is that, all throughout that's 2,000 years of human history you see right there. 2,000 years of human history where they use silver as currency, silver as money. Back in 1913, we stopped using, basically we enacted a Federal Reserve banking system, which the Bible calls usury in our country, and we started to get away from that. And so ever since then, we've been devaluing silver and completely destroying the value of what the Bible calls money, and putting paper in its place. And so that's what we have today. We have paper in its place, in place of real money. And so today we have an entire economic system built on usury that is collapsing as we speak. It is collapsing. It will collapse. The Father tells us that usury is an abomination, and it will fail. It has to. The Father's word is at stake. It has to fail, and it's going to. And we're seeing that right now. It's happening slowly. The powers that be don't want it to happen because they have so much invested in it. But it's going to happen. It will collapse. And so many people, some people who watch my channel, understand that. They get it. And so, like me, in days past, they were going around their house and trying to figure out what silver they have. We've always heard, these things like we have silver forks and spoons around our house, and we try to say, oh, wow, that's silver. We should keep that. We didn't know we had that. Or maybe we inherited something from grandma or grandpa, and it's nice to know we have these things so we don't lose them, and then save them. Really, this is what fortunes were passed down to people's children back in the day. This is how people preserve their wealth. So, knowing that, there's some pitfalls. You have to understand as you go through your house and you find things that you think may be silver. Let me give you some things to look for and some ways you can avoid some confusion. There are a lot of things out there, especially as time went on, that people tried to make look like silver that actually was not. So let's go through some of that here, and I'll give you some examples. I have some things here that are silver and some things here that are not. This spoon is marked sterling, Lunt sterling. I get you to focus that. It'll focus right in just a second. Give it a second there. There we go. Lunt is the name of the company, and you see right there it says sterling. Okay. Now, anything that's actual real silver will be marked number one with something that says sterling on it, or it'll be marked something that says 925, 0.925. So if you see something that you think is silver and it says sterling on the back, or it says 0.925 or 925, that is in fact sterling. Anything else, not sterling, not real silver. It's just not, and especially if it's an item like this. Coins, obviously they're marked 999 or fine silver, things like that. But for items like such as these, and jewelry especially, it will either be marked sterling or 925, meaning 92.5 silver, because that's what sterling is. Sterling is 92.5 silver percent. So here's something this is not silver, but it's got some toning on it, so it would fool a lot of people. I mean, you would think this might be silver just by the toning that's on this piece of silverware right here. But if you notice, there we go, right there. That is, it says IS 1847 Rogers Brothers. It's the name of the company. It's a heritage. IS stands for International Silver Company. Sometimes people call it International Silver Plate. This is silver plated. It's not real silver. It's steel with some silver plating on top of it, but it's not real silver. And so if you see something like that that's marked like that, it's not real silver. Same with this one. Right there. IS, International Silver Plate, International Silver Corp. Not real silver, but it looks like it. I mean, it absolutely looks like the toning. I mean, it just looks real silver. And then this one, obviously marked sterling, and this one here, marked sterling. Right there, you see it? Perfect, sterling, right there. Anything you see that's marked sterling or 925 is silver. Sterling silver. Now this, I was convinced when I got this. I was going through my wife's stuff. Me and my wife were both going through some of the things we had in the house, and we're like, you know what? I think this is silver. And I'm like, yeah, I think this is. It sure looks like it. It's very heavy. I'm like, if this is silver, I mean, this is worth a good penny because it's just so heavy. And she had this whole set. She has this comb here with this silver handle on it. It's pretty heavy as well. And then there's this brush. That's also silver, and it's really heavy. It's like, wow, this is beautiful. This is probably real silver, We're thinking, and she was always told as a kid this was given to her by her grandma, that she inherited, and wow, this could be worth a whole lot of money. This could really be good for us. But we looked at it closer, and it's not. I have a chemical test that I use on items that I think may or may not be silver, and so I actually did a chemical test, and if on the chemical that I use for my silver, if it stays bright red, it is in fact silver. If it turns blue, it is not. And so when I put this on here, I was convinced it stayed a bright red. I was like, oh, this is silver. This is great. The acid test that I put on here, it's bright red. It's great. This is actual silver. I could not believe, but I couldn't find any markings on it, folks. I couldn't see anything where it said 925 or sterling, and that, but I was convinced by the chemical test that it was real. Well, I didn't let the chemical test sit very long. You see, this piece right here and others that you may encounter sometimes are silver plated. And sometimes they're thick plated. Well, it was thicker than most, and so I looked at it, and I let it sit on there a lot longer. And you see the copper right there. The copper. Let that focus for a second. There, see, there's a copper right there. It's just it's copper underneath. That's all it is. I didn't let the acid sit long enough to see. What it worked through, but absolutely was copper underneath. I drilled a hole here, and I put the acid right there after I drilled a little bit, and sure enough, it turned bright blue and green. So it was definitely copper. Kind of disappointing, but it was kind of heavy, and I was like, oh wow, we hit the jackpot. But here's the deal, folks: it didn't say 925, and it didn't say sterling on it. So there's just a great indication. 99.9% of the time, if it doesn't say either of those two, it's just not going to be. In fact, there'll be some times where it does say 925, and it's actually not 925. It's more like maybe 60%, from what I hear from some people after they go to refinery with some of this stuff. So you're not going to get full market value. But most of these silverware pieces, I think, especially if it has a good brand name like Lunt is pretty well known. You're going to get. You're probably truly 925 silver in here, and it's probably all sterling. So, anyway, okay. So here's some real quick, some examples of 925. These are mostly for jewelry. This is a pendant, little pendant my wife got a long time ago. And you'll see right there, if I can show you, that focus. Yep. Right there, it says 925. 925, so that is sterling. Let's see here, this little ring. Here, let me see if I can get this. Right there, 925. Right there. 925. So that's silver. Sterling. And this one will probably be hard to show with the camera, but a lot of these little chains right here, these small chains, like a chain like this, this is also, if you can look at this little tag right there, let's let this focus in. Focus. Go right there at that tag. You'll see it says 925 silver. You can't probably see that, but that's where you'll look, and it'll say 925 on it. And so there you go, sterling silver. So you gotta go through your things, and you find these things, and you keep them. You don't want to get rid of these things. They are what is true money, true currency. See, our country has so manipulated our current currency, our nation's currency, and there's going to come a correction one time, and it's coming quick, fast, and in a hurry. So what I would advise you to do is go through your items, find out what is real silver. Do not sell them. I see all these people whenever I go into the coin shop who want to, who are there selling their silverware and their jewelry and their little knickknacks that they know are silver or gold or whatever, and they sell these things, and they're just like, oh, I need some money. I got to make a car payment, or I got to whatever. Find these things in your household and then pretend you don't have them. Put them away somewhere and let them be. Do not sell them. Do not get rid of them. And try to keep a hold of these things. This is going to be worth real money again one day. Folks, if you look back in Matthew chapter 20, you will see verse 2 that the denarius, right there, that denarius was a day's wage. That was a day's wage for a hard day's wage back at the time of Yeshua, our Messiah. Okay? In 1900... you can watch movies like Far and Away with Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, and other movies and see that factory workers, and just read about it in history, that factory workers, for a hard day's labor, were paid a dime a day. A dime a day. See, that's what a hard day's labor is actually worth. See, we live in a manipulated economy. We live in a manipulated time where things have, when the powers that be of this world have told you what is money, and it's not. They've lied to you. This is actually money. This is silver. This is real money. And so there's going to come a time when there's going to be a correction. It's going to happen. Absolutely, it's going to happen. And people are going to get paid what is really worth a day's wage, and that is silver. And there's not a lot of this out here. So that tells you right there why a little bit of silver was worth a day's wage. You paid your taxes. You fed your family on just one dime a day. That's what it was worth. And so here's the deal. If you can go out today with these manipulated prices and put aside some silver and save that for your family, for your family's well-being, to safeguard for your family, then you're going to be better off. You're going to be able to get through these hard times that are coming, and they are coming. So do I believe we're living in the last days? Absolutely. If I'm wrong, guess what? My family, there's going to be, whether we're living in the last days or not, there is going to be a hard economic time coming. And so if I'm wrong, I have some of this set aside that I can use to get my family through hard times. And that's about being prepared. It's about looking out, being the watchman, like Proverbs tells us, and being a wise man and seeing warning signs on the horizon and preparing for them. That's what we're to do. And so I would advise you to do that. But anyway, I get questions all the time about silver and what I recommend for people to do and what I recommend for people to buy. I mean, just buy silver. That's all I recommend you to do. And so there you go. If you don't need it, you don't need it. But if you do need it, wow, it would really come in handy, especially if we correct back to times like this. So, all right, that's it. Go home, read your Bible. Bye-bye. Thanks.